Welcome to Wednesday Night Live. Thanks for joining in Celebrations Youth and Family Ministries. Since you can't come to us, we are coming to you through Wednesday Night Live. Introducing your youth and family staff: Mindy Schultz, Nicole Grant, Nicole Oftedal, and Aaron Dozak. We look forward to serving you this fall in new ways. Thanks for joining in.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Wednesday Night Live. We are so excited to be here with you again tonight to grow in faith and worship together. Before we dive into tonight's lesson though, I want to bring up something super important, and that is Ash Wednesday is coming off, and that will be kicking off our Lenten season. So you're going to want to join us on February 17th, Wednesday. We will have Ash Wednesday. Our worship services in person will be at 1 p.m. and 6:30. And you can also come and receive drive-through ashes with Pastor Jeff and or Pastor Maggie from 7 to 9 a.m. and from 4 to 6 p.m. During the day and evening, if that is what you choose. It will also be live streamed and available on our website and Facebook page. So join us for Ash Wednesday on February 17th. So now, let's kick off our night with some awesome worship songs with Nick Nick. Take it away, Nick Nick.
I'm trading my sin.
Awesome worship, everybody. Thanks, Nick, for leading us. Will you please join us in prayer?
Dear God, thank you for our family and for our friends and for our aunts and uncles and for everything that you give us. Dear Lord, thank you for my family and please forgive everybody for their sins. Thank you for aunts and uncles and pets and amen.
Great. Thanks so much for leading us in prayer. All right, it is time for Where is the Pastor Challenge? And this week, you will be guessing where is Pastor Maggie in the St. Cloud area. So here is a very pixelated picture on your screen with the number below. Text in your name and your guess to that number for a chance to win a $10 Cold Stone gift card. And now, let's go over to Mindy, who will introduce us to the theme for tonight. Mindy.
Thanks, Nick. I wonder where Pastor Maggie is. Keep on guessing, I guess. So tonight I'd like to introduce our theme for this month. And this month we are journeying together through the season of Lent. Now, Lent is the 40 days before Easter, not including Sundays, and it celebrates the resurrection of Jesus Christ and his promise to bring fulfillment to the world. And our theme for this month is Love Builds Up. We will be looking at a word called ascesis. Okay, it's A-S-K-E-S-I-S, ascesis. And it's a Greek word for training or exercise. And by focusing on flexing our spiritual muscles through building those up around us and just around the world with love. So we are going to be working on ascesis and building one another up during this Lenten season. So stay tuned. We have lots of wonderful, wonderful activities and lessons about that in the weeks to come. So now let's head on over to Nicole Oftedal and she will do our memory verse. Take it away, Ofty.
9. Hey, thanks, Mindy. Y'all know what February is. February is the month of love. Valentine's Day is right around the corner. So our Bible verse this month is about love. Do you know who taught us how to love first? Jesus. When he walked this earth, he showed his love to everyone he met in many different ways. This verse tells us how to love, and this is Jesus speaking to us. The verse goes like this: love each other as I have loved you. John 5:12. We have some friends that are going to lead us now. Friends?
Love each other as I have loved you. John 15:12.
Thanks, friends. Aaron has a funny for us now. Aaron?
So I just got back from a job interview and they asked if I could perform under pressure. And I said I wasn't too sure about that, but I can do a sick Bohemian Rhapsody.
I don't even know how to respond to that one, Aaron. Okay, it is now time again for Where's the Pastor Challenge. So here is a less pixelated picture on your screen of somewhere Pastor Maggie is in the St. Cloud area. So again, text in your name and your guess to the number on the screen for a chance to win a $10 Cold Stone gift card. And now, let's go over to Nicole Oftedal, who will introduce us to our Bible story for tonight. Nicole.
Hey friends, it is time for the Bible story of the night. Tonight we're going to hear how amazing Jesus is. He was a healer and performed many miracles while he walked on earth. Jesus performed miracles because he cared about people and also to show God's power working through him. As you hear this story tonight, think about if you were the one that Jesus healed. What would that feel like? Let's listen now.
Jesus came to earth as Emmanuel, which means God is with us. Jesus began his ministry when he was about 30 years old. He called his disciples to follow him and spent much of his time with people. We'll find out today how Jesus changed the lives of many people through his early miracles.
We are so sad. Our friend and fellow soldier is very sick. I must find Jesus. He can heal anyone.
Jesus, please come with us and help our friend. He's a good man. He deserves to live.
Is that so? I can come to your house. Show me the way.
Jesus, I know you are a healer and you can heal him from anywhere. Just say the words and I know he will be healed.
Wow, what great faith you have. I haven't seen faith like this in all of Israel. Go ahead and leave. Your friend is healed.
Let's go home and see our friend.
I am healed. Thank you, Jesus. Yeah, I'm healed. Ah!
Soon after Jesus went with his disciples to another town, a large crowd followed him.
What is this? A funeral? I wonder who had died.
My son! My only son! I'm so sad! Oh no! If only you were still alive!
My heart is filled with compassion. I am so sad. Woman, don't cry. Young man, I tell you, get up.
I'm alive. I'm alive.
My precious
Wow,
son!
did you see
You're
that?
alive! It's a miracle!
Thank you, God, for this
You're
mighty
alive!
prophet. It is amazing what he has done.
Tonight we saw Jesus do some pretty amazing things. Jesus and his disciples would travel from town to town or village to village, and he would do some really cool things. He performed miracles, healing the sick, and he even raised a few people from the dead. And they would come look for him to come and heal the people in their lives that they loved. So what does that mean for us as Christians? It means that we advocate or speak up for the sick and for those who need help. It also means that we do more than just think about people. It means we actively look for ways that we can help people. We are called to live like Jesus did. And although we can't perform miracles, we can love and care for those around us. Now, here's Mindy with our next pastor challenge. Take it away, Mindy.
Oh, Aaron, thank you for those words of wisdom. You always have a great way to teach us things about faith, so thank you for that. Now, let's see if you can figure out where in the world Pastor Maggie is in the Sartell St. Cloud area. You've already seen some pictures, so keep those guesses coming in. Remember, we do have a new phone number, so the new one is listed on the screen. So be sure you're texting your answers into the new number, not our old one, and let us know where you think Pastor Maggie is in the St. Cloud Sartell area. The winner will receive that $10 Cold Stone gift card. So keep those guesses coming in, everybody, and you could have a chance to win. Now, let's head on over to Rocco and see what he is up to tonight. Rocco?
Can you hear the drums, Fernando? I remember long ago another starry night like this. In the firelight, Fernando, you were humming to yourself and softly strumming your guitar.
Hey there, Rocco.
Oh, hi, Aaron. How are you today?
Well, I'm doing well, and I see you're doing some really nice singing there.
Oh, yeah. I'm way ahead of you this week, buddy. I know just what this week's Bible story is all about. I'm locked and loaded.
Well, that's good. I hate to even ask, but do you think that the song you were singing is somehow has a connection with our weekly story?
Oh, of course. There was something in the air that night. The stars were bright. Fernando.
Rocco, what is this that you're singing? I can't begin to unravel the connections that you make in your tiny brain, so you've got me confused already, and we just started our talk.
Oh, you're not fooling me, Aaron. This story is all about Agnetha, Benny, Bjorn, and Annie Fried.
Wait, who?
Put the letter of each of their names together, and you arrive at the sweet sounds of Swedish megastar musical group known as ABBA.
ABBA?
Yes, ABBA. I heard it in the story this week. It says that Jesus healed people using the soothing sounds of the musical group from the 1970s that we all know and love, ABBA. They were one of the most commercially successful singing groups of all time, Formed in 1972, after winning the Eurovision Song Contest, they went on to chart 20 singles in the Billboard Top 100 over 10 years. I can see how Jesus healed with their music.
No, Rocco. I think you heard that wrong. Jesus did not heal with Swedish music sensations ABBA. He healed on the Sabbath. Sabbath.
No, Fernando. The song that lost love, that sold 6 million copies in 1976?
I'm sorry, Rocco.
Mamma mia, here I go again. Well, what's this story all about then, Aaron? What's a Sabbath?
Well, Sabbath is a Hebrew word that defines the day of rest. In Jesus' time, people worked toward a day of renewal and worship. On that day, no work was to be done at all.
Why not?
Well, because the Bible says that God rested on the seventh day and made it holy. It's the rhythm of creation. And because the people themselves had been slaves in Egypt, they never got to rest. So the Ten Commandments, God built in a day for them to rest, and to rest their servants as well. Want to learn more?
I do.
I'm guessing that's an ABBA reference?
Yeah, reached number 15 on the U.S. pop charts in 1976.
Mamma mia. Oh, now you got me doing it. Anyway, let's get back to our lesson. Sabbath was important to the people of Jesus' time, but it was also confusing. If I could not go to work on the Sabbath, what could I do? If my ox fell in a ditch, could I pull it out, or did I have to honor God's word by leaving it there? It might hurt. It might be hurt. It might die.
I guess like all laws and rules, the Sabbath regulations needed sorting out. Take a chance on me, Aaron, and tell me more.
Well, Rocco, along came Jesus. His followers picked grain and ate it on the Sabbath, and some people did not like that. They said they were breaking the rules. Maybe they were just looking for a convenient way to criticize him.
Very possible, I suppose. Can we figure this out? Knowing me, knowing you, I'll bet we can.
Sure. See, the human rules regarding the Sabbath became so strict that even good and helpful things were not allowed. Jesus stepped in with his authority to say that there was a higher good to consider.
Well, what's the name of the game?
Well, another ABBA song?
Yeah, number 12 on the Hot 100, 1977.
Well, for Jesus, the name of the game was about loving our neighbor and justice. Jesus said those things are more important to him and to God than a rule about not working on the Sabbath. Feeding the hungry and healing the sick are ways we love others, and nothing should stand in the way of that. Jesus claimed authority over the Sabbath.
So the Sabbath met its Waterloo in Jesus.
Not exactly, Rocco. We still honor the Sabbath with rest and renewal, but for Christians it's different.
How so?
Well, for the people of Jesus' time, Sabbath was the day they worked toward for rest. For us, it's the day of Jesus' resurrection. It's the first day of the week, and we worship, rest, and renew on that day to remember that we have value beyond our work. And then we go out in the world to live in faith after we rest. And there's more. If Jesus said that valuing our neighbor was so important, sometimes we might need to look at our traditions and change them so that we can help others know about God.
So, for example, different types of worship services or new language around worship can be helpful and healing to other people. And those things are important to consider beyond the rules and traditions.
Exactly, Rocco. Tradition is important, but if it stands in the way of caring for someone else, then we have to consider new ways sometimes. Jesus said it's important and permissible to do good and to preserve life, even on the Sabbath. We have to make sure that doing the same thing in the same way we always have done it does not hinder our ability to care for others.
I know another group of people who tried new things and spoke in new ways.
Really?
Benny Anderson, Bjorn Ulvaeus, Agnetha Falskog, and Annifried Lingstad. They didn't do things the way it was always done, and look how it turned out for them. 380 million records sold worldwide.
Wow. Well, okay, Rocco, that's fine. But remember, it's Sabbath we're talking about, not ABBA.
Got it, Chief. You are the dancing queen, young and sweet, only 17.
Well, folks, I don't know if we'll ever get some of these lessons through Rocco's head. But we encourage you to rest weekly, worship and pray, and care for others by practicing the ancient day of renewal known as Sabbath.
Awesome. Thanks so much for being with us this week, Rocco. We love just hearing your insights and the things that you get from our Bible story. All right, now let's go ahead and do the memory verse for February again together. So as a reminder, the verse goes, love each other as I have loved you. John 15:12. Awesome. All right. Let's see some of our friends do this verse for us.
Love each other as I have loved you. John 15:12.
Thanks, friends. All right, now let's go over to Pastor Maggie, who will connect us with a part of worship. Take it away, Pastor Maggie.
Welcome to this week's Worship Connection, where we take our Bible story and tie it to weekly worship. In our Bible story today, we hear a lot about the Sabbath, and in particular, the rules surrounding it. So that got me thinking, are there rules for worship? Things you can do and can't do in church? Of course there are. There are rules everywhere we go. Anywhere you interact with other people, there are going to be rules. We have rules at school. We have rules on the road as we travel. There are even rules in our homes, and there are rules at church. Rules aren't bad things. They help us get along with one another. So in church, we have similar rules as we have at school and everywhere else, right? Being quiet, so that everyone can hear what's going on. Staying in your seat so that everyone can see what's happening, and there won't be a lot of distractions, right? There's too much movement, it's a little bit distracting. And being respectful of everyone so that people feel welcome at church. Now, right now, if you come join us in person, we have a few extra rules. And they're, again, the same extra rules we're seeing at school and stores and anywhere we go. One is to wear a mask. Another one is to sit at least 6 feet away from people who don't live with you. 6 feet away, there's Rocco. And finally, we're refraining from congregational singing. Now, all of these rules help keep your air closer to you, because right now, sharing air with one another is not a great idea. But again, rules aren't there to ruin fun. They're there to make other people safe. So is there a rule that we have to worship on Sunday? Let's explore that one next. Now again, we hear a lot about the word Sabbath in our worship and our Bible story today. And you might think of Sabbath as Sunday, right? The day that we go to church, we worship, and we rest. So you might think Sunday is our Sabbath. But actually, biblically, the Sabbath is Saturday, the 7th day of the week. So, early Christians, up until the 4th century, they would worship on Sunday and rest on Saturday. So you had 2 separate days for resting for the Sabbath and Sunday for worship. So why do we worship on Sunday? It has nothing to do with the Sabbath. It has to do with the resurrection. The resurrection took place on the first day of the week, on Sunday. So early Christians right away would gather on Sunday to remember the resurrection and to worship God. Eventually, Roman Emperor Constantine made a new rule that made Sunday the Sabbath day, the day for rest. So that is why we now have them combined with Sunday as the Sabbath. So thanks, Constantine. But you know what? Constantine's not our emperor anymore. So there's really no rule that says when you need to rest and when you need to worship. So you can do them on the same day, or you can do them on separate days. It doesn't matter. There's no hard and fast rule. It's just important to do them. So take time each week to rest and take time each week to worship. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next week.
Thanks, Pastor Maggie. Tonight, instead of what celebration you think, videos that you can watch, I want you to participate. Take a few minutes right now, or at the end of this video, or if you're not watching on Wednesday, to pause the video right now to talk about this as a family and who you are watching with. How can you and your family live out Jesus' example from our Bible story tonight? Either this week or this month, how can you live as Jesus did? Care for those around you. Have your eyes open to see the needs of the people around you. And then how can you fulfill those needs or help fulfill those needs? Awesome. All right, now we're going to swing over to Nicole, who has our next and final guesses for Where is Our Pastor Challenge. Take it away, Nicole.
All right, friends, it is time to guess where Pastor Maggie might be. She is somewhere in the Sartell St. Cloud area. There is the new number on the screen that you can text your guess to, and you can guess as many times as you want. And the winner, you know it, is going to get that $10 Cold Stone gift card delivered to their door this week. Keep the guesses coming. Thanks, guys. And it is time for Ask the Pastor. We have a question for Pastor Maggie tonight. Let's see if she can answer it for us. Pastor Maggie?
This week's Ask a Pastor question is, how did God create everything? Now in our Bible, we have two stories of how God created, one in Genesis chapter 1 and one in Genesis chapter 2. They're different stories and they tell us different things. In Genesis chapter 1, God creates by speaking. God says, "Let there be light," and there is light. In Genesis chapter 2, God creates by breathing life into the dust on the ground. And then God uses the ground and water to create people and all other animals and plants and everything that lives. These are stories about how God created. They've been passed down from generation to generation. They're written by people inspired by God, people who got the idea from God to write them down. And they contain truth about what God can do. God can speak, and whatever God says is. And God is so close to us, right, that we are filled with God's breath, the breath of life. And all of creation is connected because we're made from the same stuff. These are some of the really cool things we can know from these stories. But no one was there when God created everything, so we can't really know exactly how it happened. God has given us these two stories, and we are called to trust, to have faith that God is the creator of everything, and that connects us to each other and to all of creation. Now, before we go, I want to say a word about science. Right? There are scientists who study how it all began, the Big Bang Theory, evolution, and all of that also contains truth. Science and religion are not enemies. You don't have to pick one or the other. You don't have to pick between God or science. God is at work through scientific study. There is room for God in all of the theories and discoveries about how it all started, because there's always going to be something we don't know. Even in science, there's always something that's a mystery that defies our expectation. And where there's mystery, there's God. And when we're faced with things we can't explain, we trust God. We have faith that God is with us, that God gives us the air we breathe because God breathed life into us. Thank you for the great question. You have one more week to send in your questions. Nick will remind you how to do that later. Now I'm going to send you over to Aaron. See you next week. Good to be with you.
Thanks, Pastor Maggie. The next Family Connection bag that is making its way to your doorsteps is not just a February bag, it is actually a Lent bag, which will cover the months of February and March. Each week in Lent will have its own challenge listed in your booklet. Take out those booklets, take a look at the challenge for the week, and keep your eyes open to what challenges you can take on. And then let us know how it's going. Send your youth directors an email, a picture, a video. Let us know how things are going with these challenges. All right, Nick, take it away with our Ask the Pastor information.
Great. Thanks, Aaron. All right, now is the time for you all to send in questions for Ask the Pastor. So again, this can be anything that you are wondering about relating to God, faith, the Bible story that you saw tonight, anything to do with worship. What is something you are wondering about and want to know more about? send in those questions. You can either comment if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, or you can text the number on this screen a question, and anyone who sends in questions will get a prize. So seriously, what's the harm in sending in a question? Do it. And then we will pick one of those questions that will be featured next week, and Pastor Maggie will answer that question for us. So send in those questions. We want to see them. Do it. All right, now let's go over to Mindy, who will lead us in our Bible verse again. Mindy.
I just love hearing those questions come in, don't you, Nick? Okay, now it's time for our memory verse once again. So do it with me, please. Love each other as I have loved you. John 15:12. Great job. Now
All right, drum roll, please. We're going to guess where Pastor Maggie was. Where do you think? There she is. She's at Cold Stone in Sartell. The winner's been notified, and the winner gets a $10 Cold Stone gift card to bring right to that location to get a nice, refreshing treat. Good guesses, guys. Aaron's going to close us in prayer. Aaron?
Thanks, Nicole. Tonight has been great. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of Wednesday Night Live. And thank you for being with us. Now, join me as we close in prayer.
God in heaven, hear my prayer. Keep me in thy loving care. Bless my guide and all I do. Bless all those who love me too. Amen.
Thanks for joining, everybody. Have a great week. See you next week.
Thanks
Bye-bye.
for joining, everyone. Have a great night. Bye.
Miss you.
Dancing queen, young and sweet, only 17.
Oh, yeah.
Dancing queen, feel the beat